Hey there YouTube, this is the Bass ASMR here, and for my next video I'm going to be playing AM SETSUNA, a game that is inspired largely by the epic RPG Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. This is a game made by Square Enix's very brand new studio, Tokyo RPG Factory, and they are largely responsible for making old school RPGs. AM SETSUNA takes place in a snowy continent, and the Japanese name for this game is actually Setsuna, the Sacrifice of Snow and Sacrifice, I believe, or something like that. Setsuna is a girl who is on a mission to get to the Last Lands to offer her life for the betterment of the world that is kind of surrounding this blizzard. And this game is very largely influenced by Chrono Trigger and its battle system and its, I wouldn't say story, because this game is not really based on time. It's more based on actually Final Fantasy X, where you have a person that can use magic and stuff like that and be able to, and basically offering her life in order to become, sacrifice herself for the good of the people. So as you can see here, there is a bunch of spells in this game. Just like the original Chrono Trigger, this game is largely spell-based. And during battles, you can collect these materials to sell and open up new and unlock new types of spells like life, cure, backslash, like a physical ability, lightning, there is too. And abilities in this game are set to different areas, different people known as sprint knights. And sprint knights are your commands. So cure 2, cure, lightning 2, play dead. All of these can be assigned to different players, different characters, I should say. So, unfortunately, this one takes a little bit of time to get through because there are so many different spells, and it's kind of daunting at first because there's so many spells. Some are based on command, some are based on magic, and some are based on support. Also, selling these materials will also get me gil, or gold, in this game. I want to say guild because it's so Final Fantasy inspired and Chrono Trigger inspired, but even Chrono Trigger never used the guild name in their series. So there, I actually I got drained to unlock, and I can assign that to one of the characters in the game, in the game. Unfortunately, this takes a little bit of time, and this game is a very nostalgic romp through an RPG for me, because this is one of my favorite Chrono Trigger, I should say, is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. So playing a game like this is like kind of crazy in 2016, where a lot of RPGs are now more like, Final Fantasy 15 that's coming out soon, and it's more of an epic game with a big story and more advanced battle system. So unfortunately, I'm not done yet. I had to back out, and now I have to find this where I left off, and now I have to start selling again. That was my mistake on my part. The music in this game is also based on piano, so all the soundtracks in this, all the tracks in this game are on the piano. That includes the battle system and pretty much every cutscene. So we're just about done here. The good thing about selling all these is that I'll be able to get new weapons and new items for this, and you'll see I'll get some items later when I'm finally done. So there are a lot of different support Sprit Knights in this game. I think that's how you say it, Sprit Knight. I'm not really exactly sure how you say that. In Sprit Knights, you can actually, for each Sprit Knight you buy, you can actually rename it, and that's really not what you could do in other games. You can't rename your spells, but that's something you can do here in this game. I actually have not taken the chance to do that yet. You can also rename the characters if you wish, since there's little to no voice acting to this game. So it's kept very much like an very old school RPG. And we're done. After all that. So now we're gonna get some items. And just like in Final Fantasies or Chrono Triggers, you'll know that most of these are very familiar. Right now, all the weapons I have are actually OP for me right now. OP means overpowered. So I'm actually electing not to buy any weapons at this point. Excuse me, and just buying items that I need, that I've been really needing for a while. Okay, so we're gonna see if we can buy any more weapons, even though I'm not really sure I need them. And it seems like a lot of these weapons are gonna make me even more overpowered than I need to be, so I'm just gonna leave them alone. Now I'm actually gonna come back here and check to see if I can actually sell some of my weapons, but unfortunately I cannot do that in this game, which I think is kind of a bummer. But so now I'm just going to assign some new abilities to myself if I need them. This will actually add time magic to my weapon in case I want it. That's always nice to have. So this will give me an opportunity to use a special attack for Kier, one of my magic users. Julienne is actually one of the newer characters I just obtained. Alright, so from here on out, we can finally start playing the game the right way and get into more of the story. So, as I said earlier, the character by the name of Setsuna, she is the sacrifice that will try to rid the area of monsters for a little while, almost akin to Final Fantasy X. Kind of like Sin, except in this case it's just mostly monsters instead of one big monster that's going after them. So we need to get to the Frigging Heights, I believe it was called. And to do that, we need to go through the Frigging Cave. But unfortunately, we don't know where that is. So we're going to ask around and see where to find it. So this game is also very, very much based in snow. I do believe the title, I believe I tried to say this earlier, but the game is based on, it's actually called, what was it? AM SETSUNA. I'm trying to remember the name, the Japanese name for it. It was called Setsuna, the girl of snow and sacrifice. I believe that's what it was called, but I could be wrong about that. And if it is wrong, I will put it in the comments, in the description below. Well, after all that, I just got 4 waters that I didn't really need to buy earlier. I think I bought like 3 earlier on, but I guess it's always nice to have more of those, because since they are the ones that revive your KO, even though I do have raids now in this game. So this house will actually be important later, but right now the old woman that lives here will not give me the time of day. So, if you remember from the old mayor earlier, say he'll give you some area of where the cave is. I mean, no one really knows where the cave is, but you can just move your way out of the town and you'll be able to find it pretty easily. So, the Japanese name I was mentioning earlier, there is a reason why it's called Snow and Sacrifice, because the entire map is covered in snow. The whole game takes place in snow in wintertime, I assume. So this is the majority of the game. So we made our way to the Frigging Caves here, and you'll finally get to see the battle system. So as you can tell, my characters are actually hurting right now, so let's cure them. As you can tell, you might have actually seen the cyclone attack for Endir, one of my the main character's name, and that move is actually reminiscent to Chrono from Chrono Trigger. So he is basically the Chrono in this game. And he's not a silent protagonist like the original Chrono was. He is actually, you actually can choose his dialogue in this game. So I switched to the other girl so I can show off the X Strike. So I could really show you how Chrono Trigger inspired this game is. So that was I did that for a reason, because these enemies are so weak that I did not need to upgrade my weaponry at this point. So this battle will actually, we just saw that one enemy flee. If you kill them fast enough, you'll get actually additional experience for killing it, and they're usually pretty weak too. So another easy battle down because of how OP I am right at this point. That's a Magilock Dagger for Eterna. And so raise the physical attack for her to 96, which is now even more OP than she was before. So in this game there is a momentum system, and that momentum system will actually grant me more damage. Oh, man. Yeah. Ridiculous. I can kill these guys in one shot. It's kind of crazy. And I'm pretty deep into the game now. I think I'm in one of the last few years of the game here. Kerr is actually an interesting character because of how wise ass he is, and always pisses off the character over to the left named Endir, or Knitter. I'm sorry. So this is one of the areas where you can actually select your dialogue option. And if you remember, just a few minutes ago, we tried to get that old woman to talk, but unfortunately she wasn't saying anything worth merit, so she was the one we want to go talk to now. So we have to go all the way back to the gathering town. I think that was what it was called. Now once you completely get rid of an enemy, I don't believe they respawn. I have not actually seen if they do respawn in this game, which is kind of weird because I think even Chrono Trigger did that. Actually no they didn't, now that I think about it. Alright, so we're back in the town, and if you see one of those little shiny bits on the ground, you can pick those up for the so-called ingredient in the game that I'm not able to use. Uh-oh. Here's the old woman again. Well, that's helpful. So because of her injuries from an earlier encounter, we have to take her back to the old woman's house. And she's healed. Uh-oh. I still don't know why that happens. Just go over there and touch it and everyone comes back on the screen again. So as you probably figured out, this old woman is actually a sacrifice. But if she's a sacrifice, why is she still alive? The good old bait and switch. Kind of. Not really a planned bait and switch. I want to know how you can stricken something from their memories. I wonder if that's due to magic or... So here you can choose whatever you want to say. For the most part, it's basically a pro or it's more like a good or evil, like a hero or evil choice. For the most part, it doesn't really affect the game or the story all that much. It's just save from a few dialogue options. But I've been mostly playing more of a hero role for Endir. I might replay and do basically a bad option or an evil option. Do the evil options for Endir in this one. Yeah, we got Julian back, and now we can go back to that cave. So as you see there, the last lands is basically the final destination in the game. So now we're going to go all the way back to the cave here, and we're going to get into a bunch of battles here and make it to the save spot where I will end the video. That's a crit right there. So there's no actual equipment in this game other than talismans, which basically just help your momentum gauge. And the momentum gauge is those other attacks that I mentioned before. Ooh, uh-oh. Here's a baddie that has been appearing throughout the game. This guy kind of reminds me of Zidane in some ways. I keep looking at his hands. They look like Final Fantasy IX hands. They have that cartoony look to them. So he's been the one that's been trying to come after the sacrifice and kill her. The sacrifice is kind of a character that's kind of wanted by a lot of people. She's trying to end her life herself, where other people are trying to stop her from doing that. So I'm going to tell her to let her do what she wants, because, you know, she's a free person and she can do what she wants. This is her journey, after all. Even though the rest of the party wants to kill him, Setsuna is saying that she doesn't want to kill him, to hopefully change his mind and maybe change the future. But the Reaper doesn't have any of it. The Masked Man is often referred to as Endir in this game. Well, Julian's kind of a badass character, although she comes in late in the game. At this point, I think I'm about 14 hours in. I'm not exactly sure. So we just leave him alone and continue on to our journey. And you can't kill him as much as I tried. The cyclone attack is actually very helpful because it pushes back the enemies, so it takes them a little while to come back and get back into range to attack. Even though I don't think it actually does anything other than that. I finally got attacked for the first time. Just realized that. So another momentum kill. This actually will help me get more items at the end of the battle. I also think it also helps my experience a bit. Yeah, Endir also have the ability to attack multiple at the same time. Even without a momentum attack, he still does damage if it's in a straight line, which is actually very helpful because he usually hits the same for both anyway. Ooh, oh my god, that one hurt. But that one hurt more. So now we're back to the sealed wall here. Yep, it's open. You got that right. That song is actually reminiscent of a Final Fantasy victory theme. Now these guys with the snowballs, you'd think they'd be pushovers, but they're not. They're tough enemies in this game. So they also have a an evasive maneuver, guaranteed to evade, and so yeah, he just threw a snowball at me for 130 damage. That's pretty powerful. At this point, I should have cast regen, but I elected to do fire 2 there because I figured they wouldn't have attacked, but unfortunately they do it again, so she dies again. So I have to use another water, even though they're rare. And I didn't actually equip the raise yet, and I believe that Setsuna is the only one that can use it. So now I was smart enough to realize, yeah, I kind of need to heal her. So now they both have an invade attack, but so I tried to attack him even though physical evasion is already on that enemy. Boldly poly, they're called. The momentum mode can also be done with any attack in the game. I've noticed. You can even use it for magic attacks. So as you can see, the Setsuna just hit both of them for 52. That got me a lot of experience and a lot of items there. So fighting tougher enemies is actually always a good thing to do. Tried taking out one of these bully polies early because they hit hard, as you can see. You know, took one out. That's always helpful. Luckily, I was smart enough to use another cure 2 in there before I got really bad. So as you can tell, the music is still very based in piano, but there's some bass in this and some other things. Now I can actually use the drain ability to heal myself as well. That was a tough battle. That was a really tough battle, and there's more just ahead. I'm trying to see if what area would be the best to go to. I chose the one down here, so I can get to a treasure chest. I'm trying to look for the one that has the treasure chest, I think. Oh, so I go back up here. Yeah. And this one has 3 of these damn roly-poly thingies. Looking at this now, I probably should have done a cyclone attack, which would have done a lot of damage. But luckily I still have the cure 2 here. Ugh. And those things can't miss even when they're not even in the guard stance. Let's see, the momentum attacks are really helpful here. That's another fire kill there. That damn snowball is so powerful. It actually got me again. I'm gonna have to remember to equip raise soon because I don't want to get rid of those waters. Or is actually another magic attack that lets me cure in a straight line. And this was a mistake, I didn't actually mean to do that. So now I just let that guy go down. And we take him out finally. Such a pain in the butt, those enemies. But luckily, and fluxes let me MP consume means basically I can limit the amount of MP I can use for certain abilities. It's actually the first time I actually got a flux in them so late into the game. I believe you have to try to figure those out in order to get them. So there we go, yet another battle with these damn roly-polies. This time I was smart enough to actually do a cycle in there. And those attacks, those momentum attacks were really helpful there. More physical evasions. They got really annoying at this point. I'm so surprised that actually killed him. He hit for big damage there. And there we go. Finally got him. But a big EXP bonus there for fighting all those enemies. And here's another one of those chests. Unfortunately, does not unlock. And there's a barrier there, so we can't go that way. That's a bummer. And yet another battle with these roly-polies. Wow, another big attack by him. The guaranteed invasion really stinks because there's really no way to attack him once that happens. Big momentum kill there. Use an ether for Setsuna because she really needs it. Didn't realize how powerful that attack actually is. Wow. That's kind of lame. I was actually going to use a regen there, but I decided since there's only 2 left and I could probably kill him in 2 shots, I didn't need it. And Setsuna leveled up anyway, so, and when you level up, it resets your stats. So we are here at the save spot. Hope you guys enjoyed this Let's Play of I Am Setsuna, and I will be back for another one very soon. Enjoy.